understands ex opere operato to mean that the priest merits remission of sin by his good work of offering the Mass. And so does the people, okay? So do the people. So he rightly rejects this notion. But this is not the understanding of ex opere operato taught by the great scholastic theologians or by the Council of Trent. When Catholic theology says that the Mass or sacraments in general confer grace ex opere operato, it means that God acts in and through the sacrament, and that he confers grace. Okay, God confers grace not because of the good work of the celebrant or merit of the church, but because of the merits of Christ. It doesn't mean that when we offer Mass or when we pray or we celebrate the sacraments, okay, that now God, I went to Mass. Now I want this. Or I went to Mass, automatically you have given me ABC because I have merited it. That is a Pharisaic attitude. That is Pharisaic righteousness. And Jesus tells us that unless your righteousness surpasses that of the Pharisees, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven. Unfortunately, some Catholics have this attitude, that false attitude, that I went to Mass, I prayed, I did ABCD, so God owes me ABCD. Or I merited, I have worked for this. You can't tell me I can't receive the Eucharist. I give my money to this church. Okay? God doesn't owe me a thing. Everything I receive from Him is pure graciousness, pure gift, not obligation. So we should understand our church's position. Okay? Ex opere operato doesn't mean that you merit. God is offering grace because you did ABCD. It means that you did what God is asking you to do, and Christ is meriting everything for me and for you. But by doing what God is asking us to do, we merit what He has merited for us. Otherwise, if I'm disobedient, yes, Christ has already merited everything, but I don't enter into His merit. I am outside of it because of my disobedience. So that's what we explained last week and the other week, condign merit. We don't merit in the rigor of justice, that God will owe me this. We merit by condign merit, meaning that what we do, because God is asking us to do it, He has dignified that work. He has applied grace to that work. That when I do it, I merit the graces He already merited and applied to the work He's asking me to do. Okay? So, ex opere operato really means ex opere Christi or Christ, as expressed in the ancient saying, when Peter baptizes, Christ baptizes. Luther and Melanchthon would surely not have rejected the term if they understood it in this sense. But the question is, why didn't they understand it? Why do you reject what you don't understand? Understand something, and then know what you're talking about before you reject. So, an important letter writing of Luther. In an important historical study, Eucharistic faith and practice, evangelical and Catholic, whatever dialogues, in 1926, Brilioff showed that later, in one of his later works, the Liber Ratisbonensis of 1541 gave an explanation of the Lord's Supper, as Luther gave an explanation of the Lord's Supper, which is much closer to the traditional Catholic understanding. It is unfortunate that Luther did not develop these ideas at greater length and disseminate them more widely. Had he done so, the disagreement between Lutherans and Catholics on this point would have been much less in subsequent centuries. As it turned out, these ideas remained lost among the many volumes of Luther's writings until Brilioff called them to the attention of scholars in his study of the Eucharist. Okay. But again, the thing is, if you believe something, say it. Just say it. Don't hide behind those things. So, as part of the Lutheran Catholic dialogue, Kant gives us this summary of Luther's thought on the Eucharistic sacrifice as found in Brilioff's work. The Eucharist is the Church's ever renewed presentation of the one sacrifice, which can never be repeated, but which has an eternal efficacy, and still avails for those who in faith show it forth before God. The question is, how do you show it forth? So we can say the same statement, but totally mean different things. Just as in Protestant churches you hear one holy apostolic, but they mean different things by those words, but they are the same words we use. Okay, two. It is the Church's self-oblation to God as Christ's mystical body and thankfulness for the sacrifice of the cross, whereby alone man is saved from perdition. The Church dedicates herself to God. It is a sacrifice of praise, we saw that earlier. It includes the material offering of bread and wine and other gifts to the poor. But all these things basically may not mean much if they are simple statements. Why? Because, for example, when you open our Bible, whether you're a Protestant or a Catholic, you go and read John chapter 6, the bread of life discourse. We say no Catholic or Protestant disagree on the text, at least what the words are. It says this, yes, that's what it says. But where we go in diametrically opposite directions is what it means. So statements by themselves, we may say, oh wait, we said the same thing. Yeah, but what do you mean? That's what is more important. Because you said the same thing, but you mean different things. So all that Luther says here is true and very close to Catholic teaching. Nevertheless, Luther's explanation remains incomplete as far as the Church's teaching is concerned, because it does not clearly affirm the essential point, namely that in the Eucharist we offer Christ and ourselves in union with Him to the Father. If you don't say that, you are not Catholic, period. So the Eucharist is not a representation of Christ's one sacrifice, but a sacramental offering of that same sacrifice. By the way, Martin Luther is not Martin Luther King. Some people, whenever talk about Martin Luther, they think you're talking about Martin Luther King.
But Martin Luther King was named after Martin Luther.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
Protestant.
But he's not the Martin Luther. Okay. Okay. So, contemporary Lutheran Roman Catholic dialogue. In the contemporary Lutheran Catholic dialogue, Lutherans or Lutheran theologians accept the Eucharist as a sacrifice of praise and thanksgiving, which Melanchthon did, okay? And as the Church's self-oblation to God. But they still reject the understanding of the Eucharist as propitiatory sacrifice which the church offers to God for the living and for the dead. This remains the teaching of the Catholic Church as defined by the Council of Trent. Okay, so whoever disputes that, anathema sit, let them be condemned. Okay, that's how the church teaches. And so some people may say, well, when we gather for these ecumenical meetings, which sometimes don't make any sense. Because we don't talk about what divides us. We know it, and we go around it. Okay? You have to address the issues. We have to focus on what unites us. We are not united.
We're just being nice.
Okay, we are being nice. We are not united.
Yeah.
We know our divisions. Okay? Because you can't say, let's talk about what unites us, if the sacrifice of unity is not understood the same way. How are you united? So until we become basically true to ourselves, okay, until we come to be basically truthful to ourselves and say, we know what divides us, this is what it is, we either accept it or we don't. We can't fight for unity at all costs, meaning at the cost of even trying to compromise truth. Jesus' truth himself didn't do that. Jesus prays for unity in John 17. Jesus didn't do everything to bring about unity at the cost of truth. He never did that. When he left this world, humanity was not united. He is God. He couldn't unite humanity. Who am I to think that I can do it? If truth does not unite us, there is nothing else that can unite us.
Who's next?
And if we don't believe what God has told us, and what basically the authentic interpretation of the affirmations of divine revelation, if we don't believe that, we are not united, and we can't be united until we recognize that there is authenticity in defining and interpreting truth, and we have the authentic interpreter of divine revelation and accept that. Otherwise, these efforts to unite the church, believers in Christ, apart from truth, is a misguided effort. Well, we have the Word of God. The Eucharist is the Word of God. Well, at least we can focus on the Word of God because there we believe we are united. No, we are not. Because the Eucharist is the Word of God. That's where we get His teachings from. So we can't say we are united because about the Word of God, but not the sacraments. Where do sacraments come from?
The Word of God.
The Word of God.
Or is it an act of charity?
An act of charity.
An act of... And I'm not being smart, but I'm kind of...
An act of charity to do what?
To allow peace between different sects of belief systems.
It's an act of charity. Okay? But there is no charity apart from truth. Because truth is charity. Truth is love. So if I look for charity and love apart from truth, I'm misguided. Because I'm not going to find it. Because it's not there. There is no charity, there is no peace, there is no nothing apart from truth. And that's what we have to come to terms with. So the most charitable thing you can do to me, I can do to you, for you, is to present to you the truth as we received it. That is charity. Anything less is brutality. Masquerading, presenting itself as charity.
nice.
It is kako, the weed, presenting itself as wheat.
Oh.
This is apart from truth there can't be unity. Apart from truth there can't be peace. That's why Pope Benedict states it very clearly that the world out there tells us that we have to become relevant. And by doing so, we have to conform ourselves to the present age. Romans 12. Don't conform yourselves to the present age. Okay? So by conforming ourselves to the present age to be nice, to get along, we have to compromise. I have no authority to compromise truth. Compromise means, what does compromise mean? When compromise?
Meeting someone halfway.
Or
Halfway.
You give up something.
You concede something.
you're losing something.
Yes, you have to concede. No one has the authority to concede truth. Whether an iota, a nod, a dot, or whatever, the Pope has no authority to concede truth.
And truth is not yours.
That's the reason. Truth is given to us. We don't concoct it. We don't manufacture truth. It is received from God. And always remember that the truth is not some utopian ideology there. Truth is a person. And this person is Jesus Christ. So you cannot say that I believe in Jesus Christ, but I don't believe in this truth we teach. You don't believe in Jesus Christ. It's that simple. Because truth is a person. I am the way, the truth, and the life. So Pope Benedict says that the church can only be relevant to society in as much as we offer truth to society. If we lose sight of that, if we no longer offer society truth, we are irrelevant. Society tells us otherwise because they want to make us irrelevant. Okay? So, because truth is a thorn in their flesh.
Would you be so kind, please repeat that quote again from Pope Benedict?
The church is relevant to society in as much as it offers truth to society. If the church ceases to offer truth to society, the church is irrelevant. So they want to make us irrelevant by telling us to conform to their ways. They are telling us that we're irrelevant now because we are offering truth. So if we concede truth and become relevant to society, we have become irrelevant.
How do you carry truth in a society where everyone believes that what they have is true?
So the thing is so simple. You carry Christ. You are the light of the world. Light is not my light. It is Christ the light. That's what it is. So when they argue, they're not arguing with you. Okay, that's why when we preach, with me I'm very careful never to interject my personal things there because I'm not there for that purpose anyway, or ideas or whatever. Because when you argue with me after Mass, why did you say this or whatever? Until you're arguing with the truth, not me. If you have a problem with truth, then you have a problem with your God. So I don't even take it, whatever that person says, I don't take it to person. Okay, it doesn't get to me. Because it's not my truth. I also struggle to live the truth. I ask for grace to live the truth. It's not easy. But I'm not going to falsify it because it's a challenge. We have to face the challenge. When we fail, we know what to do. We repent. Get up and move forward. So the danger sometimes is that we try to present ourselves. That you can't win. Because when you present yourself, it's another idea among many ideas. So So my idea and your idea and his idea, and they're all equal power. But if it is truth, then it transcends all human ideologies. So the world wants us to adopt an ideological faith, which is not faith at all, and abandon the truth. They will become irrelevant like they are irrelevant. So we shouldn't succumb to them. Okay? However much they try. You presented truth. I mean, just to think about this. Truth himself came to present truth to us. Himself to us. He is our life. He is our everything. This was the Alpha and the Omega. The God-man who came to unite humanity, when he was being crucified, how many people were united with him? How many? John, Mary the mother of God, Mary the wife of who? Cleopas, or another Mary Magdalene. You can count them. A handful of them. He came to unite the human race, to redeem us. There were more executioners than disciples at the foot of the cross. So the question is, was he successful? Was he a total failure? He is a total success because he was faithful to the will of the Father. That's what God is asking you and me to do. Be faithful. God will do the rest. Whether you go out and say something and everybody runs away, and even the few who remain, they tell you, I'm staying here just to comfort you, but you're dead wrong. Okay, it's not my truth. It is God's truth. My obligation is to be an active member of the body of Christ, to be active in the apostolate of the church. That's my obligation. And I have to be active, to be involved. As a baptized person, I have the duty to offer sacrifice because I entered into the priesthood of Jesus. I have the duty to proclaim the gospel because I became a prophet after Christ. I have the duty to do the work of love, shepherding, charity, because I entered into the kingly ministry, the shepherding ministry of Jesus Christ. And I do it, and the rest is up to him. Now, if I'm failing to do that, then that's when I need to examine myself, and become better. That's all God asks of me. He doesn't ask me, you preach and celebrate Mass, and everybody will flock to you, they will agree on whatever. When he celebrated Mass at the cross, even the most loyal disciples had run away. One of them he had told you ran away. He told all of them, you'll be dispersed. Peter, who said, I will not do it, it's not mentioned that he was there at the crucifixion, at the foot of the cross. So this idea that when we say things, we have to wrap the word of God, the gospel, so that it becomes agreeable to the people, it's crazy. Because if a person is not going to believe, however much you wrap the truth, they're not going to believe it. Until your truth becomes agreeable to them, in which case what you have packaged is not the truth. In Ireland, when they legalized the so-called gay marriage, appealing, well, the Pope said, no, who am I to judge, whatever, so they were quoting him, or misquoting him. So, there is a bishop there before they fought who said that this is wrong and it must not be accepted, and so on and so forth. The leader of the conference of the bishops in Ireland and his assistant came out and gave a press conference to apologize for what the other bishops said. And then after they fought, when they voted for gay marriage to be legal, then that same bishop who heads that conference in Ireland and his assistant came out and said, well, this is sad situation, okay? You don't even believe that he believes what he was saying. This sad situation, so we have to realize that, we have failed to package, the message. So we need to review the way we package the message of God. There's nothing wrong with our preaching, it's the packaging. So package it so that it is agreeable to the people. Don't call people to conversion that what they did is wrong. Okay? We have human weaknesses. We fall, we fail for whatever reason, but the remedy is not soothing one another. The remedy is meeting the challenge of truth. Jesus calls us the way we are, no matter the sin.
How do you apply?
But when he calls us to be transformed, not to remain the way we are. Zacchaeus. When Zacchaeus, Jesus entered his house, meaning his heart, okay? Zacchaeus said, if I have stolen, I will pay 4 times over. I'm giving half of my possessions to you. That's conversion. He didn't say, well, Jesus is approving of my way of life, so I'm going to collect more taxes. I'm going to extort more people. No. Transformation is.
Well, it's interesting. Stevie and I spent a whole afternoon talking about this very subject. But Father, I understand what you're saying, and I totally agree. I think the challenge is knowing how to say it, when to say it, the timing, the way to approach someone with the truth. Not that you change the truth and dilute the truth, but for example, if someone is not, I'll use an example, someone in my family who was raised Catholic and no longer believes. If you come to that person and tell them that, they're at risk of losing their soul, and that they've separated themselves from God, and if they die separated from God, then they will be eternally separated. If they're not a believer, that's not going to mean anything to them.
No, and they're going to think you're a lunatic for saying it.
What did God say? Let's look at the Old Testament. Who is the prophet? Just look it up, okay? I'm going to look it up. It says again that you go and teach them. I know they are obstinate, but even if they don't believe, they will know that a prophet has been among them. That's the statement. Even if they don't believe, they will know that a prophet has been among them. That is what you do. Okay, usually what we do, the problem we have is that we are extremely calculating. We go through mental gymnastics. All we have to know is that the greatest way to say truth in charity is to present the truth as we have received it. That is the meaning of charity. Any other thing is not charity. Now you said that there could be timing, there could be a good occasion, okay? An occasion to say something. Okay? When there's something comes up. So we don't miss those opportunities.
Ezekiel 2:7.
Ezekiel chapter
2.
So this is very significant. Chapter 2 verse
7 it says.
Okay. Yes, this is the eating of the scroll. Okay? Yes, Ezekiel. So Ezekiel, let's conclude with this text. Because Grace, what you are raising is very, very significant. Because we suffer from that now day and age, where we are being constantly told, don't judge anybody. God said we shouldn't judge. God said we must judge. Okay? And that judgment we said the other week is called admonition. Admonish one another. Okay? We have that obligation. So, not the judgment of condemnation, but the judgment of a corrective judgment, admonition. So listen to this. The voice of chapter 2, we begin with verse 1. The whole chapter. It's short. The voice said to me, Son of man, stand up. I wish to speak to you. As he spoke to me, the Spirit entered into me and set me on my feet. And I heard the one who was speaking say to me, Son of man, I am sending you the Israelites, a nation of rebels. Not UNLV, okay? Nation of rebels who have rebelled against me. They and their ancestors have been in revolt against me to this very day. Talk about our societies today. Okay? So grace, you are this now, you are this. This message is God is telling you, not somebody else. Well, someone else will do it. No, you. Okay? Their children are bold of face and stubborn of heart. To them I am sending you, not those who will agree with you. There is a tendency for us to want to lock ourselves in church. Okay? You know, to see, Sylvia, you agree with me, no, we believe, okay, let's do it. That's not what Christ is asking us to do. Yes, we have to strengthen ourselves and go out. Okay? You shall say to them, thus says the Lord God, and whether they hear or resist, they are a rebellious house. They shall know that a prophet has been among them. This takes us back to the same book, not back to. Okay? The next chapter, chapter 3, the same book.
Ezekiel.
Yes, Ezekiel chapter 3. If you don't tell them, I'm sending you, if you don't tell them, and they happen to die in their sin, I will hold you responsible for their blood, for their death. If I send you out to warn them, that's true. And you don't do it. But if you do it and they repent, thank God you have won them for God and you have saved your soul. If you go and tell them, okay, and they refuse to repent and they die in their sins, you have saved your soul and not hold their blood or their life, their death against you. But if you don't, I will hold their death against you. Okay?
It's a tough one.
What we need to do is what Jeremiah did, what Ezekiel did. Go and say. Because this is what I talked about, calculate. It's not my word. If it were my word, I would calculate how to save a river. It's not my word. It is the word of God. This is what He says, period. If you're arguing, don't argue with me. Argue with the word of God.
Okay, so Father, the church is focused on attracting souls to the Lord, right?
Salvation.
Yes.
Yes.
That's the whole.
Yes, the whole
mission.
idea. Yes, to save people.
Yes.
And the instrument we take us with is truth.
Right. However, so I think about where I was 30 years ago. And if someone had come, the Lord has been so very gentle and merciful with me. He has guided me along and has taken, has put the right people in my path, or the right book, or the right sermon, or conference, or whatever it was that I needed. And so it's been a very slow progression, but I've been progressing in the last 30 years. But if someone had come to me 30 years ago and had just very plainly and boldly informed me that my salvation was at risk and that I needed to start doing X, Y, and Z, I don't know how I would have received that information.
Now, it depends on most of the time on the context, and that's what I said, the context, okay, how do you meet this person? How do you say? You can look at a situation and address it, but always know that it's not me at work. It is the truth of God that I'm presenting to this person. Okay? Not my, whatever, our personalities of course will come out, okay, in the way we do certain things. But we have always to, at the back of our minds, it's not my word. It is the word of God. It is the word of God. Peter, in Acts, he went to the people. You killed Jesus. The difference is this, okay? This, Ezekiel chapter 2. This is a rebellious people, okay? They are people whose hearts are so toughened. Jesus says tax collectors and sinners will inherit the kingdom before you. Why? Because the hearts of tax collectors and sinners are not hardened. So Jesus would go to them and says, Zacchaeus, I want to come to your house. Zacchaeus comes down, takes Jesus, his heart is touched, he converts. A Pharisee who thinks that they are good in their own estimation, you can't use the same method. You use a judgment oracle. In prophetic language, that's what we call it, a judgment oracle. A judgment oracle is a statement of truth intended to crack the most stubborn of hearts. Many of you are parents. If you have a stubborn boy, and he's little, 3 years old, 4 years old, you tell him, Christopher, don't do this. As a mother, Christopher, don't do that. He does it again. Christopher, don't do it. He does it again. Christopher, don't. Will you be using the same language over and over again? You bring a judgment oracle. Okay. So we do it. So that is where it is. So a judgment oracle is not required in every situation. With Zacchaeus, with Mary Magdalene, okay, with Matthew, it wasn't needed. With the Pharisees, it was needed. Matthew 23. How does Jesus call them? You blind fools. You are like whitewashed tombs. Blind guides. He calls them fools. Because they are so blind to the degree, okay, that you can't use ordinary teaching to crack these hearts open. So that depends on who is before you. Okay?
Well, we don't know who of them were converted and followed Jesus, but we do know what happened
Yes.
as a result of Jesus approaching them the way that he did.
Also, a person who will not believe, it doesn't matter how nice you are. You bring ISIS and put them somewhere and feed them. They will kill you. So these Pharisees, it's not that Jesus confronted them in terms of the judgment oracle, because he didn't teach like that all the time.
Right.
He didn't use a judgment oracle. He preached to them, okay, John chapter 8. Okay, they made him in a portico and he preached, okay. He says, I'm telling you, you don't believe. Then the discussion continues. You can read John chapter 8. That gives you a good picture of what we're talking about here. Okay? He continues to teach. By the end of the chapter, he tells them that you can't believe what I'm saying because there is no truth in you, because your father is the devil. They're claiming Abraham is our father. He says no. If Abraham were your father, he wouldn't do the works of Abraham. Your father is the devil. He's a liar and a murderer from the beginning. And that's what you are. But John chapter 8 doesn't start like that. You see? So that's the context of these situations. Some people are very receptive to this message because they didn't know any better. Some others reject it because they don't want to hear truth. But those two, Christ came to save. So, because he loves them so much, he uses a judgment on them to see whether that sword will penetrate their hearts. So that's the pedagogy, the method. So
Well, it's, you know, well, I guess, you know, the truth is Christ, as you say, but you, I don't know how to articulate this, but it all starts with a relationship. You know, so not everybody, I think the challenge is conveying, you know, the love that God has for us.
with some situations, you talk to some people, you don't even know their belief system. Okay? You don't even know that. But then by talking to them, you develop a relationship, and then you bring them where they need to be.
No, I mean the relationship that we have with God. Because once you have the desire to have a relationship with God, then everything, I think, falls into place. You want to please your beloved. You want to, you know, convert and change your life and follow the ways of the one that you love and want to please.
Yes, but the challenge in evangelizing, we have to always remember this, that some people, no matter how soft or hard we speak, some people will believe, some will not. We have to be aware of that. So what the point is, we can't do whatever is in our power, including today in some circles, compromising truth for the sake of salvation. Because once you compromise truth, there is no salvation.
Yes, I agree.
So that's what we have. This the ground on which we stand. Regardless of the situation, I know, as you said, I know my relationship with God. I know truth, and I love truth, and I'm going to present it in a way that I think and recognize that would be understandable in this situation. But the guarantee of touching the heart and converting a person doesn't depend on me.
Right.
It depends on the Holy Spirit. So that I'm not going to teach to preach it what nobody believes. I'm not going to say this nobody believes it. That doesn't depend on me. All God is asking me to do is what He told His prophets to do. Okay, chapter 3 is very important. If you don't tell them, and I've sent you there, Son of Man, to say in this city, and you don't do it, I will hold their death against you.
That's very sobering.
Wow.
So glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen. Father, Son, Spirit. Thanks for coming in. Good night.